Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is Terrified Tuesday. So if you're new here on Terrified Tuesday, we talk about all things horror. And today I wasn't going to talk about Scream 6 because I am going to be doing a non-spoiler review on Thursday if all goes well. But a new theory has come across my table that I thought, well, let's address it. And that theory is, does Gale Weathers actually die? And what proof do we have to back this up? Let's get into it. Now, Gale Weathers is actually the last surviving OG, being that Sydney is out of sight and out of mind in this one. The last person that has been with us from the very beginning. And as of yet, she has never had a phone call from Ghostface. However, we've seen in all the promos, all the commercials, all the trailers that she has had an interaction now via phone with Ghostface. Ghostface has officially called for the first time Gale Weathers. And this has led a lot of people to believe that this could be her swan song. This could be the movie where we no longer get to see Gale Weathers survive. Now, there is evidence to this point. Being that she has never been on the receiving end of a phone call, she has always sort of been a little bit of the anti-hero in this movie series. She's always been the one willing to write books and do things for her own personal needs. It appears that whoever the Ghostface killer is this time does have a connection in some way, shape, or form to the original, but just how far attached to the original story is this? Could this be not really attached to the original at all, but someone who is just utterly a fan of Gale Weathers? What if the whole thing is actually just to get back at Gale Weathers and Sam? Get the two people that are holding on to all of this Ghostface nostalgia and just terrorize them to death. Get them out of the way. It's been actually theorized by a lot of people that this Ghostface killer is attacking the survivors. Only the survivors. Like, everyone that has essentially survived is a target. And that they're trying to kill the Ghostface legacy by killing all the people who have survived. And anybody who gets in their way just becomes collateral damage. Now, you can make the argument that Scream has always had this rationale, that the killers have always targeted only the survivors, but this isn't entirely true, as the killers in each movie had their own group of victims that they were going after. And in the first two films, that was Sydney. In the third film, that was Sydney. But then you got to the fourth film, and Jill had her own motives. Now, she wanted Sydney back, but Sydney wasn't her main target. Sydney was a means to the end to actually get herself to become famous. And then you look at Scream 5, and Scream 5 had its own group of targets that Sydney had nothing to do with. And the idea that they could rebuild the movie franchise to have it in redo the original, give it the justice they felt it needed, all the while taking out their revenge on Sam, who happens to be the daughter of Billy Loomis. It made sense. So now you have Gale Weathers, who swore up and down she wasn't going to write this book. And apparently, she writes another book. She talks about it on a talk show. She has a morning show in the movie. So why wouldn't the killer be going after her just to end her involvement in the killings? The Ghostface that calls actually states that they've never talked to each other on the phone, and that he thought it was time they did, leading a lot of people to believe that this in fact could be her swan song. Then there's also the whole Tara and Chad thing, with people considering Chad to quite possibly be our new Dewey. However, I'm more leaning towards the fact that Tara could be the new Dewey, in that she's the one that spent most of her time in the hospital. And Chad, yes, he got beat to a pulp, and yes, he survives. And, but he may turn out to be a little bit more of our Gale Weathers than anything else. Now, hear me out, because it seems in a lot of people's minds that these two could, in fact, be in a relationship in this new movie. It's kind of hinted that maybe they are. If this is the case, then this changes a lot of things. This actually makes them a new version of maybe Dewey and Gale, with him leaning more towards the Gale Weathers, leaving his twin sister to, of course, still be able to be the new Randy of the group, with Kirby even mentioning it in the new trailer. But if you're going to have a new Gale Weathers, then you're going to have to kill off the old one. And yes, I know that sounds a bit new Star Wars trilogy. It sounds a bit like killing the legacy characters. But they are mocking what we're seeing in other movies, and they're doing this. They admit to doing this all the time. And the last one was all about fan outrage. The fact that the motive was, in fact, that they were outraged by the way their fandom was being treated. And why wouldn't this one have some sort of motive or some sort of inside gag like that as well? The Scream franchise has always been very meta. And thinking about the fact that they could kill off our beloved characters to keep the franchise going doesn't necessarily disappoint me as much as I thought it would. If Gale Weathers is getting a phone call simply because she's supposed to be a victim of the Ghostface killer now, and she's supposed to get her swan song in this movie, then I could be down for that if they're giving it to us in a cool way. Now, that don't mean I want her to die in her first encounter with him. She's come way too far to be struck down that soon. And all the promos and trailers seem to hint that we are going to see her in the final battle. But what could the killer have meant by this? Is the killers calling her and confirming that they've never talked before actually this sort of prelude to her death, a sort of foreshadowing of events to come, that Gale Weathers may not make it out of this movie alive? If you had told me in the last movie that Dewey wasn't going to make it out of the movie alive, I wouldn't have believed you. But now, all bets are off, and this is a much more vicious Ghostface. So this theory holds water, that a lot of people are now talking about the fact that maybe she doesn't make it out. Now, as always, be careful about spoilers and try to stay out of the comments as much as possible in terms of reading other people's comments, but I do want you to make comments to me. I have 2 more nights before I see this movie, because I'm planning on going to see it on Thursday and giving you my non-spoiler review Thursday night. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm trying not to have any spoilers. I hope you all are very careful and not getting any spoilers too. But I want to know what you guys think about this theory. Do you think that there's a chance that Gale Weathers may not make it out in light of this new trailer? Alright, so don't forget to leave us a comment in the comment box below. We want to hear from you. And don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Just tell them to make sure they're being careful of spoilers, as the movie is very close and there are apparently spoilers out there. And then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel. We appreciate it. So definitely hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on your way too, because Miko says we need more subscribers and you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. And yes, friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.